Hello, and what's this week's Devil the Detail podcast? I'm Rob Parkinson, and I'm here talking all things Salford Devils. Joining the show this week, as ever, we've got Paul Parkin. How's your week been, mate?
Yeah, not too bad. Sort of passing by without too much going on. The old neighbours moved out today, new ones moved in, so I've met them. That was nice. Always good to meet up. They seem nice, so that's a bonus. And other than that, I had my brother's birthday yesterday, or one of them. So that, again, nice to see all the family. Other than that, I haven't really done anything. I think I've watched a bit more rugby league, and that's about it. I've caught up on a few of the friendlies from the NRL. They're looking for next season's signings. I've not really done anything. It's been fairly plain sailing this week so far, touch wood. It's been quite pleasant.
Yeah. And now the big news, he has returned. Like Christ the Redeemer, he has risen again to talk all things Salford Red Devils. To quote Mark Twain, the reports of my death have been greatly exaggerated on this podcast. I am just keeping Britain warm. He is back. Everybody's favourite. It's Paul Whiteside. How have you been, mate?
Hey Rob, thanks for that, buddy. Yeah, I've been all right. I feel like I've let you guys down, and I apologise. I've not been available as much because I've just been working loads and that. To be honest with you, it's been all tea and bed when I've been getting home. So you blame Baxi for that. They send me here, there, and everywhere. but no, I'm all right. I'm doing okay. Our hours are starting to drop down a bit now, so I've got home, well, say a bit earlier today. I've been to Leeds this morning and then all over Salford. I had to go to Leeds and then after that Worsley. So you figure that one out. But I've managed to get home on time today for once. So after about 12 hours of leaving, I left early this morning at like 6 in the morning, but not too bad. I'm getting there. I'm getting paid out and that. So yeah, all good. I'm enjoying life and just glad to be back because a few people have been texting me saying, how come you don't do the podcast anymore? Have you been sacked? I was like, no, I've not been sacked. So I've just not been. Well, you two have been doing a great job anyway. I mean, I've heard the last couple of podcasts and that when I've been driving about at work, and I think you've done a great job, and I've enjoyed listening to them. So I just hope I can do you justice again.
Yeah, you're the star, man. Don't give us that, Parky. We've just been keeping the boat afloat. It's great to have you back on board. I want to say, big thanks to all our listeners over the last couple of weeks who've tuned in, listened to the several different podcasts that we've put out. Record numbers this month. Can't thank you enough for engaging with us and tuning in, Parky. It's been amazing.
Yeah, as well. Like it's no good without the listeners. It's just us waffling, isn't it? I think the thing is as well, it helps when you have decent things to talk about. Obviously, bringing Paul King on the pop-up last week was fantastic, and that seems to have gone down really well. I think people have sort of listened to what he said rather than just hearing it secondhand, and you form your own opinions from things. And I think he's turned a lot of people back towards him and towards the club who maybe fell out with it a little bit. Because when you hear the reasons why things have had to happen, it's very difficult. And what he's been through in recent months, it's not been easy for him. It can't be good for your health running Salford Rugby League club. So that's obviously helped us. And we just keep doing what we're doing, and thank people for listening.
Yeah, been amazing. Like I say, I want to say a big thanks to our listeners for engaging with us and listening to what we've got to say. It's been truly a humbling experience. Obviously, all these people tuning in, Paul. It's it makes you feel special because obviously we're here just like you say, we're three lads on a laptop talking all things Salford Devils, and people take an hour out of their lives every week to listen.
Yeah, well, that's one thing I noticed when I started helping you doing it, and I used to think like, God, how many people actually listen to this? And especially when you said like where they're all from, and you've got people all over the world, and like our good friend Mark Hay, saw Mark on Sunday at the match, and he comes chatting to me, and it's just mad. He lives like 15,000 miles away, but he absolutely loves the podcast and really enjoys listening to it. And it keeps, I know we've got a lot of technology these days, haven't we, with internet and things like that, but the podcast keeps him in the Salford loop, really. It makes him still feel part of it. So I think that's great. But yeah, people enjoy it, and it's good. We're a good club at Salford, aren't we? We all sort of know each other, don't we? And I think that's what makes it special, what makes it a family, like really.
Yeah. So let's go. Let's start talking about the win against Casford. So Salford Red Devils were victorious. They beat Casford 26 points to 22 at the Salford Stadium. Parky, great result for Paul Rowleys' men. First win of 2024.
Yeah, that's the main thing, isn't it? It's a win. It was an okay game, bit of a tough watch at times for us, I think. We started off like a house on fire. I thought we're going to get a hatful here. We scored 12 points in 12 minutes. I think they'd had 3 or 4 dropouts at that point. It looked like it was just going to be our day. And then I think, I don't know if I don't know if it was the tactics we played or what, but we just slipped up and we let them in the game. And we can't afford, to do that, because no disrespect to Cas, but better teams will punish you for that kind of performance. But I remember saying to you at half time that I thought the way we were playing, it goes back to what Paul Rowleys said about Saints in the past, about that staying in the 60 minutes that we an arm wrestle, and then that last 20 minutes they'll worn you down, and that's when they get the edge on you. That's when they go for the throw. And I thought that's what we were doing, the way we were playing, because we weren't making Cas do a lot in defence in terms of stretching them and pulling them around the park. And I thought, maybe we're just going to tire them out and then later in the game punish them. But unfortunately, the last 10 or 15 minutes, it went the opposite way. We fell apart a little bit discipline-wise. I don't know what happened. I don't particularly think they were all penalties at the time. I think 1 or 2 probably weren't. But at the same point, there's certain incidents that you just can't do in any game, and we give them a bit of impetus, and they nearly took it. I mean, they could have, last play of the game, they could have stole it from us, and I think by half time I felt quite comfortable. I thought we've got this, we've got enough. But as the game went on, we seemed to just slip away. Players seemed to switch off a little bit, and but I think the main concern for me was the discipline later in the game, because that is going to kill us if we keep doing it.
Absorbing, Paul. That's the problem. Obviously, giving away penalties, you're giving away ball, and it takes juice out of your tank, doesn't it? And obviously, we look back at the whole game and the early pressure we put on Castleford, the dropouts resulted in the first try by Sam Stone. We've talked about how sometimes we fail to build pressure on teams, but this time, textbook, pressure built, try Stone.
Yeah, well, I know Stone has another opportunity when it was 12-0, and I think if he'd have scored there, I think they got an intercept. I think we'd have gone over there. We'd have been 18-0 up. And no, to be honest with you, I think we should have won that game with 40 points. I think with a miles better side for long periods of the game, you take away that last 10 minutes where Cas dominated. I think a side with a bit more killer instinct would have got 40 or 50 against Cas. I thought Cas, they worked hard, didn't they? But the game was a funny game because we dominated the first 10 minutes, for 20 minutes or whatever. Then they came into it and they had a lot of possession. Then they had a lot of sets of 6 on our line, so they had that. So it was just strange first half really. But I'm the same as Parky. I was comfortable at half time. I thought we were the miles better team, but we seemed to clock off again. Jack Ormonroyd, what was he doing there? I mean, I watched that back on the video the other night, and I don't think there's anything in it, but it looks bad. And when it looks bad, it alarms the referee, and then that could have lumbered us that. But luckily, we sort of quelled that storm and we took the sting out of it. We kicked a penalty goal, didn't we? I think that ran the clock down as well. But that doesn't help that. That could have. And then Callum Watkins gets binned. And, my heart was in my mouth there towards the end of the game because we could have chucked that away. We really could have done. But I don't know. It's one of those you can look at the game and think, well, people are saying we're going to struggle. Cas are going to struggle. And we played each other and we were about even, really, weren't we? So you could look at it like that. But I don't know. I mean, I was quite impressed with the Leeds game. I thought we played really well at Leeds and didn't deserve to lose, to be honest with you. And we beat Cas, so we got a big test this week against Hull KR. They've won 2. So if we can get something out of that game, then we really have started well.
Yeah, Amir Burrow with Salford's second try, offload by Brad Singleton, I think it was, dives over to score. Obviously, lots to talk about our hooking role. Made 31 tackles in the game, Amir Burrow. Building into this team, Parky. I know he's only young. I know he's still learning, but it's good signs for me.
Yeah, I think we said last year that he probably couldn't be under much of a better coach in Roller. Obviously Rolls being a great hooker as he was, he'll know I know the roles change these days. It's not a hooker as such, but he'll be able to pass on a lot of wisdom to him. He's from what I've heard, he's actually really keen to learn. I mean, I think that's a side to him that we won't know because you don't watch him train. We don't, we're not with him, but he's willing to learn. He wants to pick up. He wants to get better. And like I say, he's still young, so he's got plenty of time on his hands. And he took his stride well. He did, he did well. He was alert. He could see, he saw the space, and he crashed over. So yeah, and overall, I thought he did okay. I thought he played well at Leeds. I really did. I mean, that sin bin he got at Leeds. I know we're going back a couple of weeks now, but I mean that was ridiculous. He couldn't do anything about that. I've watched it back, and I'm still not sure why he got sin bin, to be fair. But I think he's really growing, and he just obviously he's got Chris Atkin there who can put a bit of pressure on Joe Mello when he comes back into comes into the team. So he knows he's got to keep his performances up. Otherwise, he could be out of the team in no time. That's a great thing, considering how small our squad is. So I think that'll help him develop, because I think that pressure is something that he'll grow to like. I like to say, with Paul Rowleys teaching him the ropes, he'll do okay. And I thought he played really well on Sunday.
Yeah. So Salford were in front, like Paul said. Sam Stone makes a break. Looks like we're going to feed it to Mark Sneyd. Interception from Castleford. Paul, momentum shift for me at that point. Cas went up the other end and scored. I'd tried disallowed, then scored, and then scored again. It was all back in the melting pot.
Yeah, it was. I thought that first try was a bit of a poor one, really. It was a poor read from us, and he crashed over for that try. And yeah, I thought we let him off the hook a bit there. But just going back to what you said about Amir Burra, I thought one thing about Amir is he's a very fit lad. You get really good minutes out of him. I think we got about 60 odd minutes out of him, and that's a good shift for him, that I thought. And like as you said, at Leeds, he didn't look out of place. It was a big game. It was a big test going to Headingley on that opening night. The big fanfare of Leeds, 15,000 fans there. I thought he did really well. And one other player who I thought was really good on Sunday, and I'm liking him a lot, Sam Stone. I think he's one of the best back rows in the league. If we get Shane Wright back to full fitness, he's just showing signs now. Right, I think looked a bit hesitant at Leeds because he's been out for a long time, so it's going to take him a long time to get his confidence back. And when he does, I think with them two in the back row, you've got Callum Watkins there as well. Three of the best in the league there. So yeah, but no, as you said, Cas were back in the game. And I thought Joe Westerman played really well for them. He's a veteran now, but he worked hard and he was involved in a lot of what they did. He, as a pivot player there with that Jacob Miller, he was very lively as well. So when they went over for that try, they were back in it there.
Yeah, and obviously just before half time, big bomb by Mark Sneyd, caught by Neil MacDonald, and Salford are in front going into half time. Parker, wonderful catch by MacDonald, great chase, and just what we needed on the hooter.
Yeah, that high kick, that bomb seemed to be our main tactic of the day. That's what I was saying. I'm trying to say at half time to you about we were playing in front of Cas a lot with the ball. We were we're known for our expansive play and the way we keep the ball alive, and we're a bit unpredictable. And I thought on Sunday, we were very predictable at times. So that high kick became our main weapon. And we kept trying, Sneedy was doing it from all angles. I thought Sneedy had a great game and all, by the way. I thought he was one of his best. But the MacDonald there, I mean, obviously just to chase the ball, he's what, he just shows that he's switched on and he wants to be there. But the way he took it out of the player's hands, Hooley more or less had it in his hands and he just swoops. And again, another great performance from Naim, because he was excellent at Leeds and he was great again on Sunday. He's going to be a real threat for us all year. But it was a good try, that, and it was one of them that got you out your seat. It was kind of a wow moment. Salford don't do that's a Saints try or whatever. That's so yeah, that was good. That was at the point. Then I thought, yeah, we've got these. If these things are coming off, that's when you go on and win games. But we obviously, it didn't quite sort of pan out that way. But just around that time, they'd lost Danny Richardson, and I thought then when I saw him walk past, they said it was a head injury, but as he walked past me, he was holding his leg, so I wasn't dead sure why. I don't know if they played a flanker there with the head injury or whatever. I don't know, but and as he went off, I thought that's it. They're going to be playing with one half back, which was Miller, obviously, and Joe Westerman was, like Paul said, I thought he was really good the other day. Got a nice a nice chant off the south stand as well, which was interesting. But yeah, I thought at that point, we should go on and win this quite comfortably. Now they won't have the same attack that but fair play to Cas, they hung in there and made it difficult for us.
Yeah, talking about crowds, Parky, we were speaking at our time. Castleford fans in that first half, your team's down 12-0. You're looking down a barrel. You're not getting behind the team. All you're doing is give the RFL abuse for 40 minutes. I thought it was unbelievable, really. But I suppose each their own in that way.
Yeah, I think if they made that much noise for their own team, it might have boosted them on a little bit more. Fair play. I mean, they didn't shut up for virtually the full 80, did they? I think they were a bit quiet at one point, but other than that, they kept singing, but not for their team. It was more anti-RFL rants. But like you say, I can understand why. I mentioned it the week before when we had, we talked about the sending off the week before. It still baffles me now. So you do sometimes think, I've said it myself, that you think the authorities can be against you, and that's the way the Cas fans felt, and they certainly made it clear on Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, full tinfoil hat brigade were out on Saturday on the weekend, that's for sure. Second half started. Paul, Salford score again. Sam Stone gets his second little kick through. He's fast enough, gets to the ball. Salford lead 24-10.
Yeah, it's funny. When I was looking last week, I think I did the 3-word match, but I think I went for Sam Stone, same as you. And I was caught between two minds whether to go for Mark Sneyd or Sam Stone. Because I thought Sneyd was brilliant at Leeds, and I thought he was brilliant against Cas. And I looked back through, and I don't think anybody gives Sneyd the man of match at Leeds. And he played really well. But I thought on Sunday, he was brilliant. He created everything, really, didn't he? Everything came off him. His short kicking game was good. His long kicking game was good. His goal kicking, I don't think he's missed a kick yet for us this season. He kicked them all at Leigh, kicked them all against Cas. And just thinking, what is he, 32, 33? Playing brilliant, playing really, really well. And he was the architect of that victory for me. Kicking through for Stone there. And I think it was 24-10, that was it. And that should have been the catalyst then for us to go on and put them to bed. I think that's for our next sort of stage now, really, is to when we get in a position like that, is to kill the game off. And perhaps when we get, two fit wingers playing for us with a bit of pace like we've got, coming through. No disrespect to the lads who were on the wing. I thought Atkinson played well, and so did Dion Cross, but we might just have that bit more bite there then, and to be able to go on and shut teams out. But yeah, I thought Sneedy was great.
Yeah, talking about Mark Sneyd, Parker kicked a penalty goal, took 2 weeks to take it, ran the clock down, gave us plenty of time doing that. Cas scored 2 late on, and like I say, put the willies up us a bit.
Yeah, well, he was, it's good. I mean, that's what you get with experience. He knew we were down to 12 men. He could probably feel that the game was a little bit, it's still in the balance. Take the 2, but burn the clock down. Try and get, your player back on from the bin. I just want to mention that about Ormond Royd, though, that from the incident that he got binned for, there was absolutely no point in what he did. I know it wasn't a malicious attack or anything like that. It looked a little bit worse at the time than it was, but at the same point, there was no threat from that kick from Cas. It was all covered. They weren't going anywhere. All he had to do was do his job. Either chase up and try and put pressure on the kicker, stop, don't touch him, don't go near him, or just get back in the line, get back to take the next ball if you have to. And it's things like that good players, the top players, don't do. They don't do that, and that's where you find your level. And I think Jack could have let us down there. You know what I mean? He only took one more try from Cas in that period. If we hadn't have had that penalty kick, you lose the game on one incident like that. All the hard work the lads have done all the way through the game, and it's things like that need stamping out. When I say discipline, I don't mean these silly penalties for being offside or not being square. Yeah, they're bad, but it's things like that can be avoided, that aren't just in the referee's mind. That's a definite penalty. You don't do it. And unfortunately, we do have a Mark Sneyd in the team who knows how to calm it down and just get us through that period. And like I say, he took the 2. He's never going to miss because he like I say, he doesn't. And that was just enough for us. But I think something that Paul Rowleys will have had a quiet word with Jack about. There's no. You get at the moment the way things are. One slight missed time tackle and you're off. You don't need to be putting yourself in positions like that for no reason. So, I mean, the chances are, if he goes out and charges the ball down, what's he going to do with it? He's a prop forward. He's not going anywhere. You know, he probably just gives them the ball back. So, is it worth the risk? You just got to use your brain a little bit, I think, at times. And for us, that discipline has to be better.
Yeah, I think with a Jack Ormond Road one, he's never looking to charge the ball down, Paul. He's always looking to take the man. If you compare sort of a body shape for somebody who's trying to stop a field goal, let's say, they make themselves as big as they can. When in this situation where you're trying to charge the kicker, most, not just Jack Ormond, anyone who charges the kicker really try to take the kicker out rather than charge the ball down. So it's becoming, obviously you need to put pressure on the kicker to make them rush the kick, don't you, Paul? But it's that follow through in it where you take the man out, and if you're late, that's when the referee sort of gets involved. It's a difficult situation. I get that, but for me, he was never going for the ball. He was always going for the man.
Yeah, I watched it back yesterday, and he sort of catches him here, then doesn't he? And then it rides up. So I think it looks a lot worse than it was, and I think that Miller made the right meal of it. But it's a cheap shot, and I don't think there's any. We used to see a lot of that in the game, and nowadays I don't think you can do cheap shots anymore because you're going to get sent off, aren't you? So it'd have been best to just not even get involved with something like that. And I think players have got to be a bit wiser and a bit smarter, haven't they? Now, I mean, you've probably spoke about the last few weeks about like the head tackles and things like that. I think the referees needed sorting out because I mean that one. For the accidental head clash at Hull, I thought was absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. I thought the Leigh and Watts one was a bit daft because at the end of the day, the Leigh and Watts one, he should have sent Joe Westerman off as well because they both did the same thing. So we get that, but you've got to behave yourself, haven't you? So it's all right saying the referees are crap and the RFL is rubbish and all that, but the players have got responsibility as well, haven't they? They need to, just be a bit wiser and a bit smarter. I mean, we all want to see big hits and physical tackles, but I think I've always not liked cheap shots on kickers, because when a player's relaxed, Chris Atkins used to get it all the time. When a player's relaxed, like a small guy, and you get a big daft forward coming in, like who's twice as big as him, you got to injure somebody, aren't you? And we've seen it, one of the worst teams for it. St. Helens in it the way they play the game, so I don't know how they're going to go on this season because they do like to play it tough. So let's see how they go on when they're on the telly. But no, Ormond Royd didn't need to do that. And if I was Paul Rowleys at training on the Monday morning, I'd be saying, you need to cut that out because you could have cost us the game. You really could have cost us the match there. So luckily we didn't. No harm was done really in that 10 minutes. I don't think Cas scored in that 10 minutes. We got a penalty goal and that was that. But no, I think he knew straight away, Ormond Royd. He apologised, didn't he, straight away, and just a daft thing to do.
Yeah, he protested innocence all the way off the pitch, talking to different Cas players as he walked past as well. Just trying to explain that I didn't hit him that hard, I didn't hit him high, just the way it is. But like you say, that's the game we're in, and that's the rules we have to follow. And I'm sure, obviously, Paul Rowleys would have had a word, and they'll have a video about it, and they'll have a look at it and see what happened. I know Chris Nini talked about in his press conference about ill discipline and how they're trying to fix it and all that. So, I'm sure it's something that they're looking at doing. Talking about discipline, Parker, King Bunny Ayawa back from suspension. Fantastic for me. Really tough tackling. Power moves, good discipline as well. Reminded me of the kind of game that he played last season at Leeds, which I think was his best game of the season, and he went on a mega run after that. So hopefully, same again this season in 2024.
Yeah, I mean, he's good to have him back. He does make plenty of meters, and he does put himself about. I thought Brad Singleton was good. Thought he was really good, leading us from the front. Again, did quite decent minutes as well. So having them two together is good. Obviously Paul King mentioned the other week we're still on the lookout for a prop. So fingers crossed, they can get a bit of help. But yeah, I thought King did really well for his first game back because of course. Again, we had half a friendly. We didn't even get that, did he? Because he got flirted at Saints. So he's had no time to play. So just getting your fitness and your timing and at the moment, like we said, the way things are with, your arm going high, or in the case of Watts the other week, your arm being low and you get sent off for that. I mean, that's bizarre. But you've got to be very careful and just getting that right. So yeah, it was good to have him back. And obviously, the more games he gets under his belt, the better he'll be. But yeah, I mean, the back end of last season, we said, didn't we, really came into his own. And I think since we signed Brad Singleton, I think that's helped him because he's not had to carry so much of the burden on his own in that way. And I think Brad brings a lot of experience. I know he can sometimes be a bit of a hothead, but I think you need a bit of that as well. We know we need to keep discipline, but we need somebody who's got a bit of fire. But yeah, no, it was good to have him back. Like you say, get another prop in there, and I think the pack starts to look okay.
Yeah. Callum Watkins got put in the bin as well. Paul holding down. I think it was just like the old pro, just trying to buy a bit of time. Bought a bit too much time, put in the bin. But I suppose that's the fine line in it. It's judging how long's too long.
Yeah, I don't know. With holding down and stuff like that, I don't really get it because I think you could penalise every tackle for holding down, couldn't you? It's a bit of a lottery, isn't it? I think those are a lottery. It's like being square at the play of the ball. It's a lottery. It just depends how the referee feels, doesn't it? Or if he fancies giving a penalty, because like the six again's a bit like that. I know I hear what the club are saying, and when Inu says it and Rowleys says it, we're going to work on the discipline and all that, but half the time it must be difficult. It must be difficult because, I saw something. There's a letter in the League Express actually from a Leeds supporter that said, I don't know if you saw it. It was saying how bad Salford's tactics were. They're absolutely awful. I've not seen a team worse than that come to Headingley and hold down like they did. They'll never get anywhere holding down. I thought, every team does it, and I've said it to you guys before. Every team wrestles and holds down because it's part of the game, isn't it? So I don't know where they get that from. I don't know how you sort of stop that really, because Paul Rowleys will want the players to sort of do what you can. You've got to make sure you don't want that play the ball to be too fast. So it's a real fine line, isn't it? So to say you're going to reduce the penalties, like I think you guys said it before, it's the obvious things, isn't it? Cut the cheap shots out and the funny IOR sort of stuff that he does. If you can get that right, the six against and the holding down, yeah, it's a bit of a lottery, but I think it's just control the controllables, isn't it? Don't be going knocking people around the head.
Okay, thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's exactly what I'm saying. When people go on, Salford's discipline's poor, it depends what you mean. I mean, sometimes, like I said, I don't think they're all penalties. I didn't think it at Leeds. I thought we got harshly done at Leeds. I think we got done for not being square at one play of the ball when the whole of the set of six before, Leeds hadn't been square. I once remember shouting it while I was on the terrace at the Western Terrace, going, they're not square, and we got penalised for it. You go, well, what's the difference? It's up to the referee's interpretation, whereas a swinging arm or a Jack Orman-Ryan incident, cut them out. They're the discipline problems for me. Not these silly penalties are up to the referee. And I don't ever think you're going to get a fully level playing field with that. I really don't. I think Paul mentioned it. Saints are brilliant at little things like that. Little holding down, dragging the ball out, slowing you down a bit. They're brilliant at it. When you watch it back, you go, how's the referee not given that? But at the time when you're watching it, you're not really thinking. So that's the difference. And I think it's sometimes how cute you can be with it. But you just cut out them stupid ones. Don't risk anything. Try and stay, as clean as you can. And then the other things that they are unavoidable at times.
Yeah, we talk about game play intelligence. It's not just going forward it's defending as well, in it really. And sure, like you say, they'll be looking at it and trying to fix it up going forward. Talking about stats now, got some new stats. Found some new stats for this season to look at. Completion rate. We completed at 84%. Casper completed at 93%.
Wow.
Our carries were 194 carries. They were 179 carries. We made 1,232 meters. They made 930 meters. And we made 262 tackles, and they made 278 tackles. The interesting stat I thought, because we talk about our forwards, not making meters up the field, not breaking the line. This stat, post-contact meters, 661 for us, 486 meters for them, Parker, which means we were bursting tackles and going forward.
I think that's skewed by the likes of Tim Laffey and Nene McDonald making big meters when they hit contact. I think more so than our forwards. I really do. I'm not saying it's not all in, but I mean, Paul Rowleys mentioned it after the Leeds game that them two made really good meters. They were poking the head through the line a lot. That's what they do. They're both very difficult to stop. And I think that's what Nofaluma will bring as well. So while we say that, if you could break it down into who did what, how much did the forwards get through, and it's a tough one, that. But and again, sometimes it depends how tired the opposition are and everything else, how much work they've had to do. But I mean, as long as we're making more meters than the other team, that'll do. But because that's a pretty, I mean, I'd love to see how many times last year we managed to do that, because it wouldn't have been many. So it's one bonus for this year.
That's it. Thoughts on that, Paul?
What was that, Rob?
Thoughts on that? Obviously, our team stats.
Oh, on the stats. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I mean, like you said, that's a big one. That making meters after contacts, isn't it? Because he's fighting the tackles, is it, and making that ground. So another stat for me, have you got that one? Is missed tackles. Do you have a missed tackle stat?
No, but I've got a funny feeling you're going to tell me.
No, I know that's one they always mention on the telly. I know the completion rate's a big one, isn't it? I was surprised that Castlefords' completion rate was so big. But to be honest with you, I don't think the game was littered by mistakes, was it?
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't. It was a fairly good game, and the people on the Sky, I think it was whoever was commentating said it was one of the best games of the season so far, the ones that they've seen on the telly. And I thought, you're probably right. It was an entertaining game. Yeah, there was stuff that you'd like to. As a supporter, you're probably thinking, yeah, that wasn't quite right, or we're a bit soft there letting that try. But it was an entertaining game. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was just a bit too close for comfort, really, because when you go sort of 12-0 up and then I think we're 24-10 up, you want to shut the game out then and get the win. I mean, that could have gone either way there at the end, and that was a bit too close to call for me. But no, I think the completion rate was good. I don't think the game was littered with errors.
No. Talking about individual stats now, Parker. Top tacklers: Amir Borough 31, Sam Stone 28, Joe Shorrock 26, Callum Watkins 23, Brad Singleton 23.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds about right. It was one of them games. I dare say both teams did virtually the same tackles, I would have thought, didn't they? So it was kind of, yeah, you'd expect that from the forwards as well. But yeah, like that's one of them that you can gauge, I suppose. Unless somebody gets into the 40s and 50s, it's what you would expect. I suppose, again, you have to look at the missed tackles, who did what in that way to judge how good the defence actually was. But that's just one of them things. But yeah, I think they all worked. They all worked out. Every play that was on the park for both sides, I thought, worked quite tirelessly. I like just going off what Paul said there. I thought there weren't that many errors. There weren't that many breaks in terms of, because of a knock on or whatever. The ball was in play quite a lot. And one thing I did want to say, I know we're on the stats, but just wanted to say, besides the last sort of 7 minutes, the referee had a really good game. And that's not me. I don't think that ever. But I thought he controlled the game really. He let it go. He let it flow. And that's what made the game a better spectacle, rather than at Leeds where the whistle seemed to go every 3.5 seconds, So, yeah, I just wanted to, say well done to the referee.
Yeah, looking at the team stats, back to missed tackles, we made 45, they made 40. Paul, so what's your thought of that?
Missed tackles?
That's what it says.
Get a tackle bags out. That's not right, is it? That's poor. That's poor. So yeah, you don't want to miss that many tackles, do you, really? I don't think there was that many missed tackles in the game, but just echoing what I was going to say, that you stole my thunder there, Paul. I was going to mention the referee. I thought the referee was great. Yeah. In the last sort of 10 minutes, last 5 minutes, there was a lot of sort of 6 agains and what have you, but maybe they were warranted. I don't know. I've not really watched the game with a fine-tooth comb, but I thought he was good, because what I've noticed this so far this season, everybody's been coming away from matches and going on Twitter and going on Facebook. And all they've been talking about the referee and sending off. We've not been talking about the great tries or what a great pass that was, what a great tackle that was. That's what I watch rugby league for. Yeah. I watch it to watch the players. I don't watch it to talk about sending offs and sin bins and referees and offsides and this, that and the other. I want to see quality rugby league moves and great bits of play, nice grubber kicks. Nice high kick like Sneed did for Neil McDonald. That's what we go to watch. And that referee did. I mean, he did his job. He let the game go. And I think perhaps some of the British referees need to take a leaf out of his book and, just referee the game with a bit more common sense.
That's
I think I'm all for red cards if something's reckless and someone's dangerously gone out to take somebody out, then send them off. And as a kid growing up, that's when you used to see red cards. You could count on one hand how many red cards you get in a season when I first started watching Salford, and that's what they were sent off for. Now we're seeing them for daft things and that. And I get all this stuff about. I'm going off on a tangent here, I know, but I've not been on, so I just needed to get us off my chest. Because I know there's a lot of stuff going on with people trying to sue the game and whatever, and I've got my own thoughts on that, and I'll keep them to myself because it'd probably be too controversial. But I think we just need to sort of cut out the reckless stuff. I think other things. Right, and that referee was like that. He wasn't pedantic. I think a lot of referees now can be really pedantic and pull up for no reason when you don't need to. And I think that's what made it such an enjoyable game. Yeah. So let's hope that it's the same this Saturday.
Yeah, I'm going to come back to you on that, Paul. On our sister show, The Sports Zone on Salford City Radio, which you can listen to on a Tuesday and a Wednesday, you and James often talk about boxing and how fighters need to be saved from themselves sometimes by the corner man.
Yeah.
Is this a similar thing that rugby players need to be saved from themselves because of all like the high shots? Yeah, we love it. They love it as well because it's all part of the game. But 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the line, they might be suffering for it.
Yeah, there's a big debate about that, and people say about I've got to be careful what I say. I don't want people having a go at me, but I'll tell you how I think of it. People say, there's a lot of people have got like brain injuries and things like this. There's an awful lot of rugby players who haven't, throughout the years, and there's an awful lot of old elderly people in care homes who've never played rugby league before, elderly ladies that have had all sorts of brain injuries and got Alzheimer's and Parkinson's and what's the other one? Is it Alzheimer's that
Yeah.
I'm not medical, but you know what I mean, don't you? So you can't blame everything on rugby league. And you're saying with football, I think a while ago, was he called Jeff Astle, played at West Brom? I think he had he read the ball and all that. And there was a big thing there, wasn't there? So it's not stopped footballers heading the ball, was it? And wearing helmets in the game. So I don't know with this sort of thing with these players trying to sue the game. My opinion is that the sport of rugby league it's been a knee-jerk reaction. They've sort of panicked and go, we can't let that happen. Well, if it was me in charge of rugby league, I'd have said, yeah, we'll see you in court then, because you haven't got a leg to stand on. And I don't think they have. I think they've sort of bottled it, really, the RFL for me. I'm probably being well controversial here, but I think they have. But that said, let's just get back to what you're saying. I don't think it's right to clock people around the head. It's not. But in a way, I think it's an occupational hazard in rugby league. You're going to get knocks the same as in boxing. You will get knocks. People get banged on the head. It's part of it. You can't play rugby league without clashing because you've got two blokes who are 18 stone coming together. They're going to collide, aren't they? You're not going to stop that. So to me, you can't just send everybody off because that's not the answer to it. So I don't know what the answer is, but I don't think that's the answer. But no, you're right what you say, though. Me and James have this all the time, and you do have to sort of rugby league players want to play, don't they? And you're not going to take. I mean, you look at the players now; they've not so much said that they've been talking about this strike and things like that. Well, no one's actually come out and sort of disagreed with the rules that have this. It's a bit grey at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, there's any talk about going on strike. There is a Players G&B union, Gaz Carvel, I think he's heading it. So why if the players are that sort of focused on it and want to make a difference, you've got a union set up there. I'll get behind that. Go to them, tell them your demands, Parker, and they will do the rest. I don't understand how we're having a discussion. It's great that Ryan Brierley's having a chat with all the captains and we're going to try and get everything organised. But you've got a union there. So why are they not engaged with it? I don't quite understand why they aren't involved in this.
The thing is with GMB, it's a general union. It's not specifically for rugby league players. It's for workers. Whereas what they're saying is they want a union of rugby players for rugby players that will work on behalf of rugby players. It doesn't. It's a different thing, and I think that's where that problem is. That it's a bit broad for what they're saying. What I will say, I agree with Paul 100%. Everybody who plays rugby league knows what the risk is. You know exactly what you're going into, and if the evidence is there, then fine, I get it. But I mean, this season, any head is a red card, a yellow card. A high tackle, a malicious high tackle, has always been a red card.
Of course,
that's never changed. So why is it now a bigger thing? It's all because of the insurance. That's the issue. So the RFL can't get any more insurance. I think there's one company that they can use that will insure the players at the moment, and that is it. And if that goes, so they've had to show that they'll make changes. But like you say, Paul, it's knee-jerk. They've not thought through what the changes really need to be. How is it affecting things? And the other side of it is people will turn off. And if you buy a season ticket for £700, you expect to see the best players every week. You don't want them sat in the stand for 5-6 weeks for something like we saw at the Hull Warrington game last week and Cas Wigan the week before. That's not what the game's about. That's not why people are attracted to the sport. And that's what needs looking at. How do you get safety without compromising the product? And I don't think they've done that. I think they've said, this is what we're going to do. Blank ban on anything above the shoulder. Well, that's always been a card. But now it's these accidental ones. I mean, the whole one on Friday, was it Friday night? It's a head clash. What are you supposed to do? Take your head off? How do you not clash heads? Yeah. Nobody meant anything. And in fact, both players clashed heads. So both players should have gone. The Warrington player hit his head on the Hull player as well. But how does that not? It doesn't work. It's not fair. So the whole thing just needs re-looking at. And I think as the season goes on, they'll learn. And I think the only way it will work is by engaging with the players, which they clearly never did to start with. How do you feel about these rule changes? How do you feel about this? Can this work? You're the guys on the pitch playing the game. We're sat in an office, don't know. You know what I mean? We don't know the physical side of it. What do you think? How can we go about it? And that's where it needs to be. It needs to be dialogue between the players, the clubs, and the RFL and the referees to get this right.
I get that, but what I'm saying is you've got the G&B union, players union, whatever. They have teeth. So you could have a many group of players that get together, go to the RFL and say, right, look, this is what we want you to do. And they'll be like, you've got no authority here. You've got no teeth. We can do what we want. Paul. So, I think you've got to engage with the G&B union to give yourself teeth. So you can go to the RFL and you can go to Super League and say, look, the game at the moment it doesn't work for us players. I know there's lots of other things going on behind the scenes, like Ryan Bradley spoke about, which things they'll need to sort out. But this aspect of the game, I think you need teeth to get a change.
You do, yeah. I mean, the GMB is like it's the old Boilermakers union. I mean, they're not my best friend, the GMB, really. I was in the GMB with BG through the strikes, and it didn't really help us out that much. So after all we went through, but just going back to the referees and that, I know we've probably gone off subject here, and I apologise because I've not been on it for a few weeks, and I had loads of stuff building up in my mind what I wanted to talk about. But the referees now, for me, the matches, they seem to be going to this bunker, don't they? Is it in Wilmslow or something? This bunker that they've got, yeah. Right? So I get that, but aren't you better off? You're the man in the middle. You're there. You're seeing it in front of your own eyes. You can see the players. You're there. So the guy miles away watching it on the telly, it's not as relative as the actual guy in the middle who's feeling it. He's feeling it. He can see it. He can see if there's any intent there. He can speak to the players. Surely it's up to that referee. He should have a bit more, rather than him saying, right, go and have a look at it on that screen, and they're whistling in his ear, red card him, send him off. We've seen it on the screen there. That the referee should be making these decisions. That's what he gets paid for. He's there. I think that's a cop-out, that. There's other cop-outs as well at the moment. If you watch that World Club Challenge game, I mean, the way that was refereed, it's, I don't know, this on-field decision and all that is madness. But no, I think, like Parky said, I think it'll straighten itself out as the season goes on, because it'll have to do. I mean, it's like with boxing, right? Say two boxers clash heads. What do you do? Oh, he's disqualified him. He clashed his head on him. He's bleeding now. It's not. It's a technical draw. It's an accident. It's accidental. That's what happens. So that one with Ben Curry. The only reason why that he got sent off is because Ben Curry cut his head. If Ben Curry hadn't cut his head and there was no blood there, that'd have been play on. Job's a good one. Yeah. So there you go.
Interesting times. I think, obviously, Parky, sometimes I think you use the screen to take the emotion out of it. Like Paul said, you know, when you get the roar, the crowd, referees aren't immune to that. They'll hear a roar, they'll think, what was that, if they haven't seen it, and they'll give what they think what might have happened. You have got that ability to go to a video referee and say, what was wrong with that? I think it was this. Can you overrule it? And I think the video referee has improved the game. I think at this moment with the tackling thing, you know, that needs work, like we've all said. I mean, we will get there, but we have to kind of admit the game is changing, and it's not rock and roll, rough and rumble rugby league anymore. It's more about the skill rather than the biff.
But sadly, that's what people want.
Exactly.
You have to give the people what they want. The other side to that is with the video ref, as it is at the moment, when they send it up and go, can you tell me about this? See, in football, they still get it wrong. And when you slow something down and have a really close look, it can look a hell of a lot worse than it did at the time. So you've got to be very careful. I agree. The referee has to make a decision. And if he thinks that incident on Friday night, straight away, he thinks, that's a red card that I think he's got to go. Then ask. Don't just wait and say, can you have a look at that? What's your decision? What did you think at the time? You're in the mix. You can see, was that malicious? Did he mean it? Yeah. You can see that. I can see it. Anyone else can see it. No, he didn't mean it. It's an accident. Just have a, make a decision there and then. And then, like you say, I mean, the video ref at the World Club Challenge, we've got it. It's pointless if they're going to get the decision wrong anyway. So, and nobody's perfect. Don't forget, the VAR and video referees, it's not a robot. It's a human making that, and they make mistakes. So it's never going to be perfect. But I think the referees have got to be stronger and say, I saw what happened. I don't think for 1 minute he intended that. He has made contact, but it was an accident. Accidents happen. Not, he's made contact with his head. It doesn't matter. He's actually hit him, so he's going off. Well, that's not right. Yeah,
I think the World Club Championship thing, Paul, we're talking the game down. What a game that was between two of the top teams in the world, and all we're going on about is a bad refereeing decision, not the drama, not both teams playing fantastic rugby, not Jai Fields, wonderful cover tackle as a fullback. What a game it was. Why are we lowering the buzz of the game? Exactly the same as our £1 million miracle, where Gaz O'Brien drops a goal in 2 minutes, which changes the club forever, and all the rugby league media wanted to talk about was 4 lads having a tear up on the pitch. Massive opportunity missed that day. Massive opportunity missed against in the World Cup Championship for me.
Oh, I don't know what Paul thinks, but the difference is the referee decisions change the outcome of that game. That's where it's wrong. Not the game itself, but the outcome of the game it's a false result. That's the problem with it. It's not, I haven't got a problem with the game, except the game was wonderful. And that's why people are talking about it, because them incidents that the referee did get wrong changed the course of the match. If he doesn't make them decisions, it's probably a different result. And I think Penrith win it. So, that's the problem with it. The referee is changing results. He's not just making an error. To give that try for Ward is, I still can't work out how did he think that was more a try than not a try in the first place? Because he's got something already in him that he wants to give that try. Wigan at home, he's a Wigan lad. I don't know if there's anything in that. I don't know. But, and that has changed the result. That's changed the game. The game itself, if he hadn't have interfered, the game itself was brilliant. Don't get me wrong. It's the way rugby league should be played. There was no, he's hit him high and things like that. It was a proper game of rugby league, but the outcome has been changed by refereeing decisions.
Right. But I do take that, Parker. But I move on to you, Paul, that rugby union, for example, right? You watch Six Nations, lots of
No, we
little
don't.
knock-ons here.
No, we don't.
People, dumping people over in tackles, missed time tackles, ignored unless it's something that's going to affect something massive.
Yeah.
And they just like to promote the game. The game becomes this spectacle. We don't talk about the little knock-on in the bottom of a ruck, because if they did that, every ruck there'd be a knock-on.
Yeah.
Commentators don't acknowledge it. Referees don't acknowledge it. The game just goes on.
Yeah.
So I understand we've got to make sure with the big decisions get right. But I think for the good of the game, we've got to talk, these games up and not blame a bad decision on a.
That's what I was trying to say to you before. But if these bad decisions weren't being made, you wouldn't be talking about it. I mean, just before you carry on, rugby union, I'd rather go and bleed the brakes on the van rather than watch rugby union. So I've never watched a game of rugby union in my life. So, and that's honest truth. But I tell you one thing, if we can just discuss it for a minute, right? The video referee. Me and my dad talk about this all the time. I think a massive thing with that video ref, I don't agree with it. I'd get rid of it and just let the referees make decisions. But I tell you what's a bad thing, and it's terrible, this on-field decision. Right, because this is where it gets wrong. So the referee can do this try. On the field, it's a try. So it goes up to the video referee. The video referee is watching it, and he's like, bloody hell, that's not a try, that. I don't think that's a try. But I can't disallow it, because I've got to go with his decision, what he's made on the field. So you're already putting obstacles in the way of your video referee. So why have this on-field decision? Because if he's not sure, that's just why he's going upstairs. So why he said, well, I think it's a try, but I'm going to have a look upstairs. He just makes it a farce. So that needs getting rid of, because that, to me, I've not seen the game on Saturday. I was at boxing Saturday, so I've not watched it. I've only seen bits of it. But from what I can gather, that's what the controversy was. The video referee saying, well, yeah, I think it's a try. And then he said, and then the Penrith try was given as no try on the field. So then he can think it's a try, but I'm not sure. So I'll have to go with the decision. So I don't know. It's too controversial, that, for me, because you sort of know as a supporter, don't you? If it goes up as a no try, we're not going to get this. We're not going to get it, because he can't really see and he can't tell, and it could be offside and it's a bit blurred and someone's got the foot in the way or the camera's not right. And I think that needs to go. That I really do.
Final thoughts on this, Parker?
I agree with that. I really do. I think if the referee doesn't say on-field try and he doesn't have a say and he just goes, look, I don't know what's happened, I can't see it, can you have a look?
Yeah,
that try is disallowed. That's as simple as that, and we all know that. We all saw it. But because the referee, that video ref has to have 100% that it wasn't a try. Well, that's not how it worked. It wasn't a try, but he couldn't. It actually happened. You say that in Union, and it did happen in Scotland-France game earlier in the Six Nations this year. Now, I don't watch it, but I caught the last 5 minutes. Scotland got beat on a very, very controversial video referee decision. Because again, the referee said it's no try or it's a try, whichever way it was. And that changed the course of that game. And that was an outcry. So it does happen in both sports. But that needs to go. That I agree with Paul with that. There are times when you watch him and you go, he's going to give a try here anyway. He's going to give it. And he goes upstairs and yeah, it's a try. Well, what was the point of doing that then? Just give it a try. Don't mess about. Just don't have a decision. If you don't know, if you can't see it and make a decision on the spot of what it is, then we go to the video ref. If you think it's a try, give the try. Simple.
Fascinating chat. Back to Salford and Castleford. Top meter makers. Neil MacDonald, 167. Brad Singleton, 82. Joe Sorrocks, 105. Sam Stone, 72. Average gains. Parker. King Bunny Ayawa made 9 meters. He made an average carries of 9 meters per carry. 8 carries, 68 meters. Jack Ormonroyd averaged 9 meters a carry. 68 meters, 8 carries. Ben Helliwell averaged 10 meters a carry. 3 carries, 30 meters.
Okay. That's
so
3 carries.
That's what it says.
Not many, is it?
He must. I don't think he might have not been on much. Maybe.
Seems a lot, but yeah, I think just going on the whole thing there of the meter makers. Did you say McDonald made 100 and something?
Leigh McDonald, 167.
So I think that's 2 weeks running now, isn't it? He's gone through 150 odd. I mean, that's very impressive, very, very impressive. But yeah, if we're making 9 and 10 meters per carry, then we're doing okay. That's what we want. I think a couple of years ago we'd have been looking to make 6 or 7. So
Yeah,
again, that's it's progress. And I think that's the only other thing I will say about the rules at the moment, the discipline, the way it's changed. Markers do tend to be squarer, so you've got a little bit more time to get up. Players aren't. I think the offside's been a lot better this year. I don't think teams are offside as much. You always got 1 or 2 creeping, which would cut your meters down. So I think that's helping the game. That's been a good thing. So yeah, some good meters there. And then, like I say, with it, I mean, Jack Ormonroyd's kind of surprised me there. I didn't think he'd make that many, but yeah, overall, we've got to be impressed with that.
Yeah. So big thanks for your 3-word man of the matches. Bob Speakman, too many penalties, Sneed. Colin Reynolds, wins a win, Sneed. Richard Martin, room for improvement, McDonald. Dave Parker, got job done, Sneed. Martin, Ormonroyd, brain fart. Stone, OSF, work to do, Stone. Graham Jones, poor discipline, Sneed. Colin Wilson, hard-earned victory, McDonald. Andy in Lancashire, take the 2, Sneed. Mark, clean up discipline, Cust. Natalie Taylor, excellent time management, Sneed. Anita, points, make prizes, Stone. Paul Whiteside's mate, Roy Elby, much too close, McDonald. Jeff Whitlow, has to be Sneed. Craig Walker, hard-fought match. Peter, job well done, Sneed. Christopher Sloan, good in patches, Shorrocks. Paul Howe, need 2 props. Mike Murphy, discipline needs sorting, McDonald. And finally, Rob Potts, closer than necessary, need McDonald. Paul, thoughts?
Yeah, I like to see. Good to see Sneedy got some there, and I'd like to take this opportunity as well to Andy Lancashire. I'd like to give him a mention because I know Andy has had a rough time recently. He lost his son, and I know he listens to the podcast and whatever. So our thoughts with Andy, and he's a nice fella, isn't he? Always contributes every week. So just thinking of Andy at the moment. But yeah, I'm glad Sneedy got some mentions there. Because he deserves it, and he sometimes goes under the radar. Certain players do that. I mean, Parky said that a few times last season, where you think someone's had a great game, and yet nobody mentions them for their man of the match because they just expected to do it every week, aren't they? Because we just expect Sneedy to be good. I think Chris Atkins was the same, wasn't it? But no, I was really impressed with Neil MacDonald. I was impressed with him at Leeds, and one thing I noticed about him at Leeds, I think I said it to you, Rob. He was sort of arguing at one point with Sneedy, and he got a bit. He got a bit flustered, I think, but I think it's because he cares. He's a passionate bloke. I think he was frustrated at Leeds, and that's what you want. You want people like that, winners who are going to put it all in for you. And he seems that sort of guy. So we're very, very impressed with him. Very explosive runner, and that athleticism to take that ball where he leapt up like the old salmon, wasn't he? Out going for that ball. That was brilliant. I saw it on Facebook. Loads of cast spotters saying, "Oh, he's miles offside" and all that, but he looked all right to me.
Yeah, so that's all the chat for the men. Let's move on to our ladies, Parker. They were in action against Leigh, their first pre-season game of 2024 at the community stadium before the Casford game. Unfortunately, went down to defeat 32 points to 10. I spoke to new head coach Mike Grady after the game. Obviously disappointed that we didn't get the result. He said he learnt a lot from it. Obviously, new team, 12 new players, new coach. Going to take time to bed in.
Yeah, we lost a lot of experience out of that team from last year and the year before. So it is going to take time to bed in. And we didn't go for a light option playing Leigh. There are easier teams out there we could have picked on. So I suppose it's a good challenge. And like I say, Mike, he'll learn a lot from that, from seeing the girls, from seeing who can do what in a game. It's easy doing it in training sometimes. You're not running at anyone. You're not, there's no one trying to, well, not take your head off anymore, but you know what I mean. So yeah, it'd be a good workout. There's no stress on that at all. It's going to take us a while to get a team together, to understand each other's roles, to get new partnerships. we lost a lot of key players last year, hookers, half-backs, so it is going to take a while. And obviously, I mean, the season won't be far off, but I think we just need a bit more time together. I've got no worries. I think there's still some really good players in there from what we've had previously, and players coming back into that team. So it's just a case that it's early, it's early season. I dare say the league team hasn't changed an awful lot, and if it has, it will have improved from where they were. So because I think they're a Super League team, really. I know they're not, but they probably should be. But we're a work in progress again. We're more or less starting from scratch in many ways, and we've just got to relearn all them skills. And come together as a team.
Paul, I watched it back. I think they just lacked field position. I think Leigh sort of tactically kept putting us in our 20, and we struggled to get out. Like Parky said, we've lost a few rock and roll forwards, so we struggled to get out. But when we did get into attacking positions, we looked dangerous, and that's a positive. Going forward, that new players coming in look like they can play.
Well, that's right. Yeah, that's the exciting thing, isn't it? It's always going to take time for new players to gel and get combinations together. They lost a lot of experience. Well, I mean, we saw Louise Fellingham, didn't we? At the Leeds game, she was commentating, and she's got to Warrington now, so she's a big hole out of the team as well. So it does take time. You've got new leaders to come in as well, haven't you? And the players, people to look up to and things like that. It does take time to mould a new side, new coach as well. So there's an awful lot of change there. So there's things to be positive about, though, and I'm sure they're going to make progress as the season goes on. And I'm sure they'll have a good season. But it's going to be difficult when you've got new faces.
Yeah, the 2 Salford tries, Parky. One was by Millie Jones. Taz Curran, long pass from the play of the ball. She dives over in the corner. And then the second Salford try in the dying moments of the second half, Demi Jones kind of zipping in and out the line, gave it to Abby Collins, who crashed over by the posts. 2 well-worked tries.
Well, you just mentioned 2 names there on that last try that are going to be very important for us this year. Especially Demi, who's got, she's got all the experience. She's going to be the key, I think, for us. She's going to take over that mantle that'll be left by Louise, running games. But we've still got some really good players there. The names that I looked down the team sheet and I thought, I don't know you, I'm not sure about. And then I thought, well, yeah, you're still here. So there's plenty to build on. And hopefully, that as the season goes on, we'll see them progress. And it might not be this year, if you know what I mean. But we need to build again. I say it every week. We got harshly dealt with last year in what the restructuring, and that's kind of cost us a lot of players who want to play at a higher level. But we've enabled these girls to be at that level. We've taken some of them who hadn't even played rugby league before and pushed them to that kind of standard, and they want to play Super League. And we can do that again now. Paul King, obviously, we had him on last week, and he's heavily invested in what, not obviously in the financial manner, but in terms of what the girls do. He wants to see the best of everything we've got. So I'm really confident for the girls. I think there's still enough there, and once they start kicking in and learning together, I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, I haven't done the deep dive yet into our new faces, Parker, but Emily Carlisle, she looked very, very good, I thought. Jen Myra on the edge, thought there's tries in her, I reckon. But all the new faces, looked really good. Gave a good performance. Obviously, the people who have been here before, the likes of Emerald Hickey, Darcy Price, I thought that was the best performance I've seen from her in a red shirt in a long, long time. I don't know what she's been doing in Jamaica, but she needs to keep doing it. And obviously, the return of Lucy McKeown as well. That's a good thing going forward.
Yeah, well, Lucy, we know, that first season, she was unbelievable. I think she scored 6 tries every week. It was crazy. She's got great pace, great step. So she'll be another added bonus to us, really. It's probably like having a new signing, because she missed, I think, nearly all of last year. So, but I mean, that's obviously a bonus for all those players you do lose. To get somebody like Lucy back in there is really good. So, yeah, there's still lots of positives for us. And like you say, we just got to, hope they can get it together quickly, and just get off to a good start to the year. But it's a run out this week. That's all it was. I know we've got a game this weekend as well, so just keep learning, keep bonding together, training hard like we know they do, and they'll be fine.
Yeah, so that's all the match chat, and now we'll see what's happening in the world of Salford Devils. So we've done player strike, we've done tackling techniques. Let's move on to fan zones. I went on Saturday, Sunday, very good. Music, beers, interviews, great atmosphere, parquet. It's certainly, I've got to give the club a big hand clap about that. We want the game day experience to be fantastic, and it's a step in the right direction.
Well, absolutely. I mean, we need to offer more.
Mm.
It's simple as that. We needed to. I didn't arrive really into time for that on Sunday, but yeah, we do. I mean, we saw it a few times last year, didn't we? When we started putting the events on, and there was a few games. But I think the Wigan game was brilliant. What was going on, and hopefully we can get back to that, because it's tough now with every game being on the telly to attract people. You can sit at home and watch it, sit in the pub and watch it. We need to offer more than 80 minutes of rugby. We've said it 1,000 times. With me and Paul, we're all stick in the mud. We're going for the match, and it doesn't matter. You put the dancing girls on, or you can bring on, I don't know, David Copperfield. It doesn't really matter for me. It's whatever you fancy. But it's what happens in the 80 minutes that bothers me. But you have to now. And there are other attractions in the area. We are in a privileged position in many ways where we live, because there is so much to do. So we've got to pull these people in and to offer, the fan zone. And I think giving that interaction with, you said the interviews, the players that aren't playing, now there won't be many because we haven't got many, but to get them involved, to get, give the kids a chance to meet with them. I think we've all probably seen that Ryan Briley sort of interview that's put out, and I mean, I must admit, it put a tear in my eye, because he the way he spoke was how I feel about the club. It was what I've always wanted to do, and he is living our dream in many ways. And I think when he said that he sees, kids with the names on the back, and all, we forget what it means to be, 6, 7, 8 years old and see these players that you absolutely love. And that, if you get a kid then saying, "Come on, mum or dad, I want to get to the game, I want to go and see, so and so." That's the kid. We need to be able to get that and engage them at that age. So yeah, brilliant to see the club are doing things about it. And I'm sure, again, as the weather books up in about another 7 months, we'll be okay when the sun's out, and because there's plenty of land there, plenty of things you can do. So yeah, I'm sure they'll keep improving. And now with the stadium hopefully progressing, we'll get more help from it all. And yeah, so it looks good.
Yeah. So don't forget, you can get your shuttle bus from Trafford Centre every 15 minutes. Fan zone kicks off at 3 o'clock. You've got Greek street food. You've got Mexican street food. You get some coffee as well, Paul. I know how much you like your coffee. Entertainment starts at 3 o'clock. You got Zorbin. You got Martin Burkett and Shane Hanson with the interviews. You got face painting. You got the supporters trust table. You got the Red Angels dancing. And you got the Red Devils Foundation tombola as well. And Diablo, the devil, will be in attendance, Paul. So lots going on. Going to be another good day, weather permitting. Hopefully, no rain, and we can have a good day.
Yeah, certainly. I think I've noticed that OKR, they've got like a fan zone there, haven't they? And I think they've done a good job with that. And perhaps we've took a bit of a leaf out of their books. I think that's the way to go, isn't it? And like I said, I only go for the match, really. I mean, I got there a minute to 3 on Sunday. I was a bit late to get there, so didn't really get to see anything. But no, I think it's good to grow the crowd and get people involved and get it like a really good atmosphere. I just keep mentioning OKR, but at the moment they seem to be like a club that's really on the up. Everything seems to be positive about them and the way they talk. And I think sometimes if it's like that off the field, it can sort of transfer to on the pitch as well with the players, and the whole club sort of gets going, doesn't it? I mean, you think back to the sort of mid-90s at Salford, you beat Wigan in the Cup, and we seem to kick on from that. And that 97 season was really good, and it felt like a good time to be a supporter because things were happening off the pitch as well. And I don't know, I think when there's a good vibe around the club, I think it's the supporters love it and they want to be part of it, don't they? And I think this is a good thing. This, getting people involved and having this fan zone, and it's it's a start. It's something that can grow and grow and grow.
Yeah, I tried the Greek food Zatski. Very nice. Parky tried to take a leaf out of your book. Told him that I'd do the podcast, hoping he'd give me something for free. Didn't happen. Had to buy it, but it was well worth it. So my advice is to get stuck into this street food and enjoy the game.
Yeah, I might. Hopefully, well, we don't need to this week. But yeah, I'll be doing that in the future. Definitely. I quite like the thought of Greek street food. It's kind of grabs me a bit. It's funny you say that. I mean, Paul was saying there about that feeling off the park and with the fans, and it seems to sort of transmit. It takes me back to 2005, 2006. And I remember being at the shed at the Willows, and there was a buzz for some reason. Under Carl Harrison, we had a couple of good years. Didn't we? Only 2006 we made the playoffs. But the crowd every week, it was like you wanted to get in the shed early. You wanted to be, and the team came out. It was a dramatic thing. Obviously, we had Ignito with his flair and all that kind of thing, but it felt different. And the performances on the pitch were better. And it does, the better the atmosphere with the fans, I think it just transmits to the players. I really do. And the whole club then gets a lift out of it. And then people want to be involved, want to be there. Come down, you'll love this. That sort of, and that's what the club are going to try and aim at getting now. And that's part of this fandom thing that, IMG have set out. It does have a massive effect. I think fans, I don't think sometimes some fans realise how much they influence things or do it the other way when, all you do is stand there and slag them off for 80 minutes. Well, what? I don't really know what you're going to expect. So it's, it is strange how the two go hand in hand.
Moving on, the Salford Red Devils Foundation have a silent auction going on where you can bid for Shane Wright's playing shirt or the Australian national team's World Cup shirt, which is signed. It ends at 7:30 on Saturday. Paul, obviously it's great, all these auctions. I know obviously it's a silent one, but I always get a bit nervous when it comes to auctions because you don't want to itch your nose and suddenly have to spend $5,000 on a boat.
You know
what I mean?
So what's a silent auction and where you just like bid on Facebook or something?
Yeah.
Right. They're dangerous them though, aren't they? Because you have a few scoops at home or whatever, a couple of cans on a Saturday night, and end up buying bloody God knows what. Like, but no, the prize is there though. I mean, a signed Australian Test shirt. That's something, isn't it, to have on your dining room wall or something. So yeah, I've noticed a bit of memorabilia going up in my house actually. Our Imogen's waiting in a room the other night for something, and to shout her actually after she's not done her own work. We've got an email off school, and she's got a 1973-74 Salford team picture on the wall, with the championship trophy. I don't know where she got it from because I had one in a frame with my dad's, and it was in the garage, and she's nailed it on the wall. So. Yeah, spreading. So I might have to bid for something for her because she's starting to peg memorabilia all over the house.
You'll be creeping in, parking under the cover of darkness and taking that down and putting in the living room. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, I think I've got enough, to be fair. But to be fair, you say the Australian Test shirt. I've got a bit of a man crush on Shane Wright, to be honest with you. So I'd probably take his. I think he's a fantastic player. I really do. And like you said before, Paul, about him, by the way, just going off that, once he gets his confidence back, it'll be more mental for him now than anything else. Yeah. Once he gets that back, he's some player, that lad. I could see if he can't, if he hadn't had the injuries already, he could have probably gone back to the NRL. I think he's that good.
Yeah.
So that's all the news, and now we'll look forward to this week's games. So we'll start with the ladies, Parky. They're in action against Hull Kingston Rovers. Their ladies completed the treble last year, so they are a good team. And Mike Grady's ladies will need to be on top form to get a result.
Yeah, didn't we beat them a couple of years back when we
did.
Played them? I think we did, didn't we? I mean, obviously we were in the same league at that time. And then last year, obviously we moved, to a different league, but whatever. Again, it's just another good test, isn't it? Hopefully the travelling down might get to them a little bit, because it's a mission, isn't it? But yeah, it'll be good just to see again. Hopefully, there'll be a couple more players maybe getting a run out, and testing the squad. But yeah, like I said earlier, the more time they spend together, the better they're going to get. And so yeah, that'd be well worth getting down and watching if you can get there early enough. Well, I don't suppose it'll be too early this week, will it? Because we kick it. The men's game kicks off at 5:30 or something. So
3 o'clock.
Right? Yeah. So it's a decent time to get down and watch the ladies. Like you say, just hope the weather's okay. Stay outside and watch that at the fan zone. But yeah, no, I think it's just a case of getting the girls together, having another run out, and getting prepared, getting that physical, getting used to the contact again and that sort of thing. So yeah, hopefully we can get down and see a little bit of it anyway.
Yeah, promises to be a good game. Paul, last time we played him, we beat him 58-6. But since then, I think Ilkeston Rovers have sort of found some talent to obviously finish top of the league, win the grand final, finish 5 points clear of Alton. Shows they had a good side. But like I said, we've got some new faces in, and we're building, and I'm confident that we can give them a good game and possibly get a result on Saturday.
Yeah, certainly. It's early stage of the season as well, isn't it? So I mean, this is the time to sort of get results, isn't it? So forms, nothing at the moment, is it? Because nobody's really played, so you can catch teams cold sometimes, can't you? So yeah, you've just got to go for it. As we said before, new faces, and there's new heroes to be made there, isn't there? So, and there'll be new fans' favourites this season as well with the supporters. So yeah, I'm confident they'll do a good job on the weekend. On Saturday, I'm going to say Sunday, and on Saturday it should be a good day. I think it's always a good day when there's the old double header on. I think it's a really good day out.
It'll be interesting to see, Parky, who Mike Grady picks as his half-back partnership. Demi Jones, Emily Carlisle, Sam Evans, all played quite well last week, and he'll have a decision to make there.
Yeah, like I said, I suppose with it being a friendly sort of, you can rotate them, you can try them all at some point in the game. I think we're gonna have to, and I think, like I said, I know how important Demi's going to be for us, but maybe it's a chance for her not to be as involved, if you like, to see how reliant we're going to be, and test out a different partnership, because there will be times in the season where you're going to get injuries, players aren't going to be available. And what you don't want to be halfway through a season, I'm going to drop in players at halfback, the key positions, who don't know each other, who've not played together. So probably give them a chance to do that this week as well, and maybe the only chance they'll get. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what he goes with. But I'm very keen to see what our pack looks like now, because, like you said before, we lost some very key members out of that pack, and that's the one that's going to set the platform for us. So I want to just see how the girls go.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting. Like I say, keep your eyes on the club's socials. They'll tell you when kickoff is. I think it's 3 o'clock, but they will confirm it. Get yourselves down there. Impressive turnout last week. Hopefully more of the same this week. Let's move on to the game. Paul Rowleys men against Hull Kingston Rovers. 2 wins from 2 from them. Paul, in form, like we've talked about, a club on the up. It's going to be fascinating.
Yeah, they are a club on the up. I think there's a lot of positivity about Hull at the moment. I've seen a bit of them on the telly, because with the games being on Sky now, I've managed to catch some of the matches, and very impressed with them, really. I thought Niall Levels played really well against Hull and Leeds. And I mean, to be honest with you, I think he'd be better playing at fullback for them, because that Hiku is a bit of a liability. I mean, I'd be kicking to him, because he's a bit like a boat turning round when you put the ball behind him. He's quite a tall bloke. He's not as agile as the people. So if I was okay, I'd be putting Evans at fullback, because I think he's wasted on the wing. But no, they've got some good players in that side there. That Tyrone May, I'm not sure about him. I wasn't that impressed with him when he was at Catalan, but Parcells a good player. He's a really good hooker. He's quick around the road. They've got is it Batchelor at back row and all. He's a good player. And the halfback as well, Mikey Lewis. He's a real talisman for him, isn't he? He's their man at the moment. He's that sort of Brodie Croft, isn't he? Really. So he's somebody to watch. But no, they've got some good players in that side. Ryan Hall as well. Yeah. He's still a good player, Ryan Hall. He can still score tries. Very, very strong near the line as well. So they've got a very balanced side, I think, Hull KR. And from what I saw of them, they were head and shoulders above Leeds in that game. And in round 1, they absolutely battered Hull on their own ground in a derby game. So they're going to be coming favourites, I would have thought. I think the bookies have got them favourites. I think we've got an 8-point start. So it's going to be tough. But I don't know. I think sometimes teams get hyped up, don't they, by Sky and other things and that. And you've not got to read into that sometimes. You've got to go and play your own game. And we've got some good players on our side and, players who can cause problems as well. You look in the pack, like Shorrock's very good ball player. I don't think Oliver Parton will be playing. Well, we saw him on Sunday, didn't we? He had one of them boots on, didn't he? So not so sure what's. Did we find out, Paul Rowleys, what was wrong with?
No, it was Christian knew this week, and he basically said, "Would you just getting his body ready for the next time he can play?" Didn't really get drawn into what was wrong with him, but we saw him with a boot on, so don't know. Broken arm, maybe.
yeah, metatarsal. I think we'll be all right. I think we've got players to trouble them. I think it'll be a really good game. I think it's two sides that like to play rugby league the right way. I think their coach, Willie Peters, I think he's a really good coach. I think he's very, very positive. He did a great job with them last season. They finished well high up on the table and runners up in the Challenge Cup as well. So yeah, in a way, I'm pleased for Hull KR because out of the two Hull clubs, I prefer them really because Hull FC are always like that chairman they've got, that Adam Pearce, and they're always a bit mouthy, aren't they? And signing, they're spending loads of money and all that. So Hull KR are a bit like the poor relation, but there are clubs similar to us. I've just been writing the preview today. You look back and they've not really had any success for a long time. You're going back to the mid-80s. I mean, I know ours is the mid-70s since we won a major trophy, but they've gone a long time now without winning anything, really. And if you think back to like the 90s, they're in the third tier. They were below us when we were in that first division. So they've been in the doldrums, really, but come back to Super League. And last few years, I think they've been really good. They've finished in the playoffs numerous occasions. And, they've not just built this fan base up over like 12 months. They've been doing it gradually, getting better and better every week. And they're a good side.
Yeah, going to be fascinating to see what happens, Parker. Got to be disciplined, got to make your meters, got to make your tackles. Gameplay intelligence is going to be really, really important. Like with Mickey Lewis knocking about, you need to make sure someone keeps an eye on him. But like I say, we've got good players ourselves. They'll be looking at Mark Sneed. They'll be looking at Tim Laffey. They'll be doubting whether they can do a number on us. So it'll be fascinating to see who comes out on top.
Yeah, I think like we said before, I think the thing is with Rovers at the moment, they're on the crest of a wave. And confidence can carry you a long, long way. I think we're still learning a little bit. I think they've got more of a solid team, as in they've been together a little bit longer. I know they've had a few changes this year, but I think they've got more of a nucleus of what they want and their identity. It'd be interesting to see what team he does pick. I mean, I agree with Paul about Evans. I'm amazed. I mean, they signed Joey Burgess, doesn't get in the team. They play a fullback on the wing, and you think, well, that's a bit crazy. Would you not put Evans at fullback, stick Burgess on the wing, and do it that way? I don't know what's going on there, if he's injured or what. But for me, that would be a strong way to go. So it'd be interesting to see what they do with them. I've noticed Sam Luckley's not been overly getting a look in again, and another ex-Red who's a really good player who causes lots of problems with his offloads and that sort of thing. So it shows the depth of their squad. I think that's the key for them. They've got some really good players. I mean, Abdul was let go on loan. He can actually sign for Catalan now if he wants. If Catalan decides, that's Hull KR have gone. Thanks for your efforts, but off you go because they're moving on. They're looking at making progress. So I think it'd be really, really tough. And I agree with Paul. I think it'd be a really good game. If it doesn't become too attritional, I think both teams do like to play the game in the right way. And Hull KR obviously score a lot of tries out wide with Ryan Hall. I think that'll be the way the game will go. I think both teams will, attack really well. But they've got a lot of strength. And I think we'll have to be right on our A game to turn them over because I think they're coming here with a lot behind them, a lot of impetus, and maybe they might just have too much.
I think we should start a hashtag bring Sam Luckley home. I reckon. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Their prediction time for you, Paul. Thoughts?
I can see there being points in it, like the Cas game. I don't think our defence is 100% yet, is it? I don't know. I'm a bit wary about this one. I'm not sure. I don't know. I'll never back against us though, so I'll have to go with it. I'll say Salford 28, Newcastle, Kingston Rovers 24.
24. You've got to go with us, otherwise you don't get the Nando's. That's one of the rules.
Yep.
Parker, prediction?
Well, I've done mine, but I don't remember what I went with, so I don't know. I wrote it down somewhere. Oh yeah, well, sadly I won't be getting a Nando's because I've gone Salford 14, Hull KR 18. I think it'd be really, really tight
for the Nando's this week.
It could easily go either way. It could be 18-14 to us. I think it's that kind of game. I just think we need to, if we tighten up the little discipline issues, and like Paul said, I mean, Cassie's 2 tries in the first half the other day were both off silly little errors from us, little switching off moments. You can't do that against good teams, and Hull KR are definitely a good team. They'll exploit that. So if we bang at it, we can win the game. I'm not that bothered. If we're slightly off by 1%, Hull KR can easily, come here and do a number. So yeah, I think it'd be a good game though. I think it's one that the neutrals will enjoy watching.
Yeah, my prediction is going to be Salford 30, Hull KR 6, and wow. I think I'm hoping that maybe Nofaluma will get his debut and score twice. Paul.
Don't do predictions by half, you do you, Rob?
No.
Most confident Salford supporter on the planet.
I just believe, I've always believed we are the best team in the world. We do have our ups and downs. But I have faith in this team. I have faith in Paul Rowley that when it clicks, when Rowley ball clicks, we are unplayable, Paul.
If Salford played the 1982 Kangaroos, Rob, you back Salford because you've just got the faith, haven't you?
Got to keep the faith, Parker.
Well, yeah. At the moment, I mean, I am still encouraged. The Leeds game proved that to me. I thought, like Paul said earlier, I thought we were a better team at Leeds. Going to Headingley and being a better team on that opening day with everything going on with Croft and Ackers and whatever else, I think that's shown a lot of what we had. And again, penalties sort of turned us round a little bit, and Leeds only scored when we had 12 men on the park. So I think that, shows we have got something. And if we hadn't switched off a little bit against Cass, we could have been cleared of them in that first half. So there's a lot to be encouraged about from us. If we keep all 13 on the park, you just never know. We could do okay. So yeah, you've got to keep the faith. And I think, I know I've gone for a Rovers win, but it wouldn't surprise me if we won at all.
Yeah. So that's the end of this week's podcast. Paul, great to be back.
Yeah, really enjoyed it. Yeah, I know we went off the tangent a bit, but I like doing that sometimes because sometimes I'll be driving about my van and it builds up on me, listening to stuff and reading stuff on it. I think, I want to talk about that. I want to tell people how I feel about it and that. And the podcast is a good place to vent off your anger. So, no, I really, really enjoyed it. So, good to be back, lads.
Yeah, another great show, Parker. Want to say a big thanks to all our listeners who have donated via the Ko-fi. Helps us, buy programs and equipment to create this podcast, which everyone listens to.
Yeah, and 2 things there. I just want to say, like Paul said there, sometimes you think, I want to say that. I'm lucky enough to, because of you guys, to have that chance. There's millions out there that don't get the chance to be heard. So I don't do it lightly. I do. I might not be everyone's cup of tea sometimes, but that's, I'll just say what I think and how I feel. And secondly, to the listeners, I mean, this week I've had so many messages from all over the world, oddly enough, of people saying how much they enjoyed the last couple of podcasts and, how we do a great job and that kind of, and that, it means a lot. It blows me away because you don't think about when we're sat here talking now, it's just us 3. I don't think of the wider thing, and then you get a message from someone, you think, wow, people are listening. So yeah, no, thanks to everybody who does listen, because it makes it all worthwhile.
Yeah. So big thanks for joining us on this Devil in the Detail. I'm Rob Parkinson. You can find us on Facebook, Devil in the Detail SRD. You can find us on X at DITDSRD. You can find us on SoundCloud, iTunes, Spotify. We'll see you soon for more Salford Red Devils chat. Good luck, Reds. We'll see you on the other side.